Hello, and welcome to the Bound Breaks. Yeah, now this racket, I know this is really bad. It's almost going to snap. It's actually a Roger. It's a Roger Federer kind of junior racket. I did ask for Nash Barty, but yeah, there wasn't Nash Barty, so it's got this Roger Federer. Yeah, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? That it's all about Roger Federer. I think people feel sorry for him, and I'll tell you why. Because everyone thought he was, of course, the best, or the GOAT. And it kind of appeared that way, didn't it? Because he was just breaking records. He was just winning. He just dominated. In fact, he went through 2 consecutive years and won 6 out of the 8. He only lost twice because of the French. Probably to Nadal. So since he won Wimbledon, in 2003, and he just absolutely dominated, didn't he? Except he wasn't winning except for the French, which Nadal was typically winning, and then of course Djokovic then comes on the tour. But Federer broke the Sampras record of 14, and then he just continued to win slams, and then of course he got to the 20, and he was the first player, and that's what he finished on. In fact, he was the first player to get to the 20, and so he was ahead on Grand Slams in comparison to, say, Djokovic and Nadal. I think around about maybe 85% of the time, he was in the lead in terms of the most number of Grand Slams, and then suddenly Nadal and Djokovic have ended up with more than him. In fact, Nadal 22 and Djokovic 24. So in fact, it was Nadal that actually got that passed Federer's record of 20. He got to 21 even before Djokovic. Who got to the 22 first? I don't know. Whether was it Nadal or Djokovic, but anyway, Nadal finished 22, and then of course Djokovic then went on and got the 24. So what happened to Federer? Well, yeah, people felt sorry for him because he was losing matches that he shouldn't have been losing, and he was choking. And Barron is going to be talking on this at the society. The Congress for Society Tennis Medicine in about a month's time in Amsterdam. He was feeling the pressure. And he was feeling anxieties. He, in 4 matches in the finals, including that one, was at Wimbledon, he lost to Djokovic. In fact, he was up 40-15 on serve and choked. He missed an easy overhead, 40-15, 2 match points on serve. And choked and ended up losing that match. I think he lost at 9-7 in the 5th set. But there were 4 matches where he won a high percentage of points on serve in the final and lost the match. So he was playing the better tennis. But of course he was choking. He was choking on the big points, the pressure points, and the important points in tiebreak games, 30-40 and so on. And that match, there was a massive difference between Federer and Djokovic. He won probably about 5% higher on serve in that Wimbledon final. I think it was Wimbledon that he choked and lost. I don't think he won a Grand Slam after he choked at that match. I don't think he won a Grand Slam after that. In fact, he was on 17 for a while and then come back and got 3 slams. That's another story in itself. But he was choking, and in fact, there were another 6 more matches prior to finals where he also won a high percentage of points on serve. So he would have won at least 4 more slams, taking him to 24, and possibly up to 10 more slams. I don't know, and could have been anywhere up to about 30 slams. In fact, he was a better player than Djokovic on all 4 surfaces. The only exception, I guess you could argue, is Nadal. Is Nadal only on clay? So, and that's why people are feeling sorry for Roger Federer. And yes, I can sort of see why. And that match he lost to Nadal was at the Australian, and he broke down crying. He broke down crying because it's just a tennis match, and he broke down crying. He broke down crying because he was feeling the pressure, because of the anxieties, and because he probably did he play the better tennis in that match. I don't know. I have to check the stats, but he felt he should have won that match, and that's why because he was choking. He was choking, and people were feeling sorry for him because he of course breaking down crying. And yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it's disappointing. And of course, Barron, the work of Barron, I sent it to the Roger Federer Foundation, and it was acknowledged. So I think we have to learn from that and move forward. And why was he choking? Because he wasn't. Yeah, you need to be doing yoga processes. That's what yoga is. You know, you can become, of course, free of all anxieties, like the Buddha, and reach enlightenment. And you got to start at a young age, and you got to identify talent at a young age, of course. So, lot to be learned. Anyway, let's just rip a forehand. Oh man, that is just rank. It's just a slap. So yeah, forehand's just like, yeah, it's just a slap. Just an open slap, and I don't know, maybe you just practice it, I don't know, in the bedroom or something. Okay. Okay. This may go on the Barty wall, so yeah. Okay. But yeah, but with a backhand, well, backhand is all footwork, so yeah, you really have to get the shoulder, and yeah, you got to get out in front. Barron was sort of, yeah, Barron couldn't really hit a proper backhand, but you got to get forward, and yeah, you'd think it'd be easy because you're going across, you know, it's a nice flow of the backhand, whereas a forehand is, I guess, across the face or across the body, but it's easier to do a forehand because you don't need footwork. It's just that and a slap. Whereas a backhand, it's all timing and you got to get foot, and I don't know. But anyway, how many ball bounces are we allowed in tennis? I think the record 29. Novak Djokovic in the final against, who was it? Whoever. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, Pat Rafter, he used to just throw it up. Oh, sorry, mate. And he wouldn't hit it. So I don't know. Should that be allowed? Is that a form of, you know, when we talk about ethics in sport? Well, you know, you're feeling the pressure, and suddenly, okay, let's just take my time, throw it up. As soon as you release the ball, and so you could argue that should you then be limited on ball bounces? Should you be allowed any ball bounces? Whereas, you know, a Goran Ivanisevic, he had no ball bounces. He just went that, and then it was that. It was an and then you'd just be hitting what? 1.5 aces a game. So yeah. Well, the Pete Sampras, yeah, it was basically that, and it was that, and it has to click. Unless you hear the click, you don't serve until you hear the click. So yeah. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, I don't think I can actually play with this racket anyway. It's just kind of, yeah. Another forehand. Well, a little bit. Oh yeah, so volley. So yeah, why do we follow through? It's interesting, isn't it? So when the ball, of course, makes contact with the racket, that's it. Why do we follow through? I don't know actually. It makes sense to follow through. It just feels, you know, it's part of that. But why do you, in terms of the physics, why do you need to follow through? And in a volley, why do you tend to not follow through? I mean, well, yeah. I mean, does it matter if you follow through? Because once the ball hits the contact of the ball hitting the strings, well, that's it. It makes no difference what you do after that because, you know, the ball's already been released. So, but anyway, let's talk more about the sort of the details. Yeah, what was the Barty? Oh no, Ash Barty was actually quite short. So, I don't know, Ash Barty. I don't know. I guess, yeah. I guess she didn't really typically come to the net a lot, but I don't know. She could handle the pressure quite well. I think that's what it came down to with Ash Barty. And at the end of the day, what is the differences in the top players? And in fact, if you look at the first set anyway, the most number of tie breaks are actually played in the first set. So yeah. So the differences is, I don't know. It's basically momentum of the better players, and I guess sort of handling the pressure, isn't it? And you could argue that maybe their serve drops off in consecutive sets. The back to the wall effect is quite significant. So if the better player actually gets down 2 sets, or we're talking a best of 5 set in a Grand Slam, then the back to the wall effect of the better player coming back and winning is actually very significant because they don't have the belief that they can actually win. And you look at the likes of, I don't know, Zverev. I don't think Zverev is going to win a Grand Slam. Tim Henman couldn't win a Grand Slam. Mark Philippoussis never won a Grand Slam. And yes, they got the ability. Now Demon's interesting. Could he win a Grand? I don't know. I haven't really watched much of Demon, but Alex de Minaur, but I wouldn't say so. I don't think he can beat the likes of a Sinner. of course, or an Alcaraz. In fact, the difference is now, I'd have to look at the stats, but yeah, if you look at the likes of Sinner or Alcaraz, yeah. In fact, Alcaraz's stats were just as good as Djokovic sort of several years ago. So it's just going to be Sinner, Alcaraz, the next 10 years. So who is GOAT? Sinner or Alcaraz? No. So yeah. Okay, so I just sort of run a video here. It's pretty hot at the end of the day. It's probably 30 degrees. Yesterday, yes, walked to the top of Mount Kosciuszko. Tomorrow, also going to Thredbo as well. Probably going to do some cycling, maybe some walking, and just all very nice. Ooh. 29. So if you answer the ball 30 times, then you've broken the world record, yeah. And that's me before you serve. Okay, so maybe we'll leave it there. Gonna have to get my phone. Ah, man. Okay, so we'll leave it there. And that was my brakes. Oh. Oh.